Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes and welcome to Volume 2 in our discussions on diminished scales for the saxophone. Today we're going to focus on the diminished scales that start on a B flat and a B, and that will round out the 12 possible diminished scales that you can play on the saxophone. Please check out Volume 1 if you're not familiar with that tutorial. I won't be going over that information again here. Knowing that the formula for any diminished scale is tone, semitone, tone, semitone, and so on across the range of one full octave on your instrument. If we start on a B flat on the saxophone this time, well, a tone will be C. A semitone up from that will be D flat. A tone up from D flat will be the note E flat. A semitone up from E flat will be E. A tone up from E will be G flat. A semitone up from G flat will be G. A tone up from G will be A. And a semitone up from A brings us back to B flat, one full octave higher than where we started. I'll play that scale for you so you can hear it. This is a B flat diminished scale. Now, as we learned in Volume 1, if we take the notes in that scale that are a tone and a half away from each other, the scale that starts on those notes will be the same finger pattern as we've just learnt when we start on B flat, only extended up or down the saxophone range depending on where you want to play it. Now what I mean by that is a tone and a half up from B flat would be D flat. If we wanted to play the notes in a D flat diminished scale, we simply treat it as a mode of the B flat diminished scale that we've just played. We start that scale, start and end it, on the D flat. We use the same notes, but our starting point is now a tone and a half higher than it was. If we start on D flat, the scale will be this. And so on if we start on the note a tone and a half higher than D flat. So we'll have E, D flat up a tone will be E flat up a semitone will be E. We do the same thing. We play the B flat diminished scale starting and ending on an E. And finally, if we take the E up a tone and a half, we will actually be playing the note G. And we play the B flat diminished scale finger set, starting and ending on a G. I'll stay within the standard range of the saxophone here, so I'll take that down an octave and start on second line G. So in summary, the scales for B flat, D flat, E and G, which make up the notes of a B flat diminished seventh chord, these notes, use exactly the same fingering as the B flat diminished scale. It's important to note that you now know how to play 8 out of the 12 possible diminished scales. In Volume 1 we learnt an A, C, E flat and G flat diminished scale. So far in Volume 2 we've just learnt a B flat, D flat, E and G diminished scale. Let's complete the journey now and learn the final 4 diminished scales. If we take B flat up a semitone as our starting note and start on a B, well then B up a tone becomes C sharp. C sharp up a semitone becomes D. D up a tone becomes E. E up a semitone becomes F. F up a tone becomes G. G up a semitone becomes G sharp. G sharp up a tone becomes A sharp. A sharp up a semitone becomes B. So we have the notes B, C sharp, D, E, F, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. A B diminished scale. Let's play those notes. again, each of the notes in that scale, the B diminished scale, that are 1.5 tones up from each other, form the starting note of a new diminished scale that uses the fingering of a B diminished scale. So what's 1.5 tones up from B? Hopefully you can work out that that's a D. A D diminished scale uses exactly the same notes we just played in the B diminished scale, but it's like a mode. It starts the B diminished scale on the note D. Starts and ends on a D. So that's going to sound like this. If we take the note D up 1.5 tones, we'll start on the note F. If we play a B diminished scale fingering set, starting and ending on the note F, we'll be playing an F diminished scale, and it'll sound like this. Now, if we take the note F up 1.5 tones, we'll end up on G sharp. I'll play the G sharp diminished scale using the same finger pattern as the B diminished scale. I'll again stay in the conventional range of the saxophone, so I'll start this scale on second line G sharp. So the notes B, D, F and G sharp all share the finger pattern of the B diminished scale. And the notes B, D, F and G sharp form the notes of a B diminished 7th chord. There you have it. You've now played the 12 possible diminished scales in music, because if we take B up a semitone, what do we end on? C. We've already learnt that a C diminished scale is the same as an A diminished scale. If we think back to Volume 1, we're just repeating ourselves. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and learnt just a little bit more about diminished scales and how you can apply them on your saxophone. Work hard on those key 3 finger patterns and you'll be well on your way to having fun when improvising or sight reading music based around the diminished scale. Bye for now.